Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together on what we call Qi therapy. Particularly, we alternate from week to week for those of you who are new. And today we're practicing Qi as in breath, breathing. So, in a way, we can think about our practice as part of what is called the 8 limbs of yoga. Yoga is an ancient Indian practice that um, had come to China about 1600 years ago. So we're going to start with doing some joint exercise. Working on the body is another aspect of the 8 limbs of yoga. So we're going to first bring our mind into our body. Mind body togetherness is in fact the meaning of yoga. We're going to focus our mind on the very bottom of a spine. We're going to walk up the spine, one joint, one step at a time towards the top of the head. As we do that, we're going to stretch the spine, stretch it as hard as you can. And then we're going to lean back the upper torso and then relax. We're going to open up that shoulder. Then we're going to relax that shoulder. We're going to lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder. And then we're going to tuck in the chin so the top of the head is on top of a spine. We're going to start with some joint exercise, starting at the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. We're going to focus on the center of a palm. We're going to bring our hands together, bring it up with our mind, focusing on the center of a palm. We're going to bring it up to about shoulder level. We're going to concentrate on the wrist. We're going to do joint exercise, turning the wrist one turn at a time. Each time we turn, we check to see if a mind is in fact on the body. And if it's not, it drifts away. It's okay. Just invite your mind back. We're going to start from the beginning. And then every time we finish one turn is as if we start from zero. One turn at a time, very slow, very gently. So the 8 limbs of yoga has the practice of the breath, which is called prana, yama. Except that in that case, the breath is not the air coming into your nostril or leaving your nostril, but rather it's abdominal breathing. Is how your stomach opens and closes when you breathe. There's another one that's actually much more familiar to Americans. It's called asana. Now we're going to turn the other way, but make sure that you're focusing on the center of the palm. One turn at a time. Asana is the body, it's the practice of the body. That's closer to what we do in the West, except that in the West, it's another very particular form of the asana practice called the hatha. But in any case, it's the practice of the body, practice of the mind, and the practice of the breath. Okay, now we're going to lower our hands, so I want you to focus on the center of the palm, bring it down as the same way you bring it up. Then I want you to come back to the spine, stretch the spine, open that shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Now we move him from the wrist to the elbow. Once again, focus on the center of the palm, bring it up slowly, all the way up. Now focus on the elbow and turn the elbow one turn at a time. As you turn your elbow, I want you to focus on the sensation of your body, the sensation of the elbow, and how the body actually changes as you do your asana practice. See if there's any heat, sweat, numbness, tightness, or even pain as you turn your elbow. As soon as you turn one, you come back, you start from zero, one turn at a time. It is the practice of the body as much as the practice of the mind. And now I want you to turn the other way, turn the other way. The practice of the mind starts with something called mindfulness. Now, in the Pali, the original language in India, Mindfulness means sati. Sati just means remember. Now I want you to lower your hand. Once again, focus on the center of your palm. Bring it back down. Once again, stretch your spine. Open the shoulder. Lean back. Relax. We're moving from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. Once again, focus on the center of your palm. Bring up your hands, crossing your hand this time. Following the center of your palm, bring it in front of you. Bring it above you. And now I want you to stretch the upper torso as hard as you can. And then focus on the center of the palm. Turn your wrist 90 degrees. Point the center of the palm towards the two outsides. And then as soon as you finish, you relax. Starting from 0 again. Bring it the palm up in front of you, on top of you. Stretch. Pointing the palm towards the outside. Open the shoulder. Feel the change in your shoulder. Relax. Once again, start from 0, bring it back up. What's done is done, okay? Just after you finish, you come back to the center of your palm, pointing the palm towards outside. Relax. We're going to do 2 more times. Bring up your hands, focusing on the center of your palm. Stretch as hard as you can, pointing the center of your palm outside, turning your wrist 90 degrees. Open the shoulder, feel the change in your shoulder. One last time. Following the center of your palm in front of you, above you. Stretch, pointing the palm outside. Open the shoulder. Feel the change in your shoulder. Now we're going to turn the other way. Open the shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open the shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open the shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. 2 more times. Open the shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. Relax. Start from 0 one last time. Stretch. Bring it back down. Relax. We're going to do from front to back. We're going to be causing some pain, a little bit more, even more pain on the shoulder, which is actually a vehicle for practice. Okay. So just follow me. Stretch your spine, lean back, open the shoulder, relax. Focus on the center of your palm. Bring up your hands together in front of you, following the center of your palm above you. Now, open the shoulder as hard as you can, and then feel the pain in your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Bring it back up. Open the shoulder, stretch the spine. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Focus on the center of your palm. The pain is gone. Don't let it metastasize into suffering. Just let go of the pain. Bring it back up again, in front of you, above you, as far back as you can. Open that shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. 2 more times. Bring it up. Open. Feel it. Accept it. Let it go. Come back to the center of your palm. One last time. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Now we're going to put the hands in the back. We're going to do one last time. As far back as you can. Bring it up. Stretch. Bring it back down. Always follow the center of your palm. Mind, body together. Stretch. Bring it back down. All the way back. Stretch. Bring it back down. 2 more times. All the way back. Stretch. Bring it back down. One last time. All the way back. Stretch. And bring it back down. So I talk about mindfulness and how in either Pali or Sanskrit, it's sati. And sati is the name of the goddess. And they actually name a ritual after her, which is unlawful. It's when the husband dies and the widow has to jump into the fire with the husband. That's illegal. But that was what used to be done. And that came after the princess, who was actually a goddess. And that ritual came from that. But just make the long story short, in that case, Sati or mindfulness just means remember, remember. Okay, so the reason why sati and remembrance is the same is because the legend has it that a king and a queen went to a goddess and want a daughter. They have everything else, just they don't have a daughter. So they convinced the goddess to become their daughter. But the goddess says, if you ever insult me, then you're going to be punished. And so they say, no, no problem. So eventually, the daughter grew up, and he decides to marry a god who is of lesser social status. In fact, it's a very important god called Shiva. Shiva is the um, originator of the yogi practice. But in any case, the parents didn't like that, and they insulted her by not inviting them into a birthday party. So then she reminded them the promise, and she said, you were going to be punished. And so she jumped into the fire, to return herself into um, a goddess again and marry Shiva second time. And she was known as the first student of Shiva, first student of the yoga practice. So that word meant mindfulness. Is it in its mindfulness? It's nothing more. Just remember. So I rather you think of mindfulness as anchoring. How you anchor your mind. And I want you to remember this. When you're moving, when you're exercising, I want you to anchor your mind onto the body. And when you're sitting, standing, or lying down, then I want you to anchor your mind on your breath. Just that simple. So what we just did was a exercise, a dynamic form of the mindfulness exercise, which is why we need to anchor our mind onto our body. The easiest place to anchor is the center of your palm. But when you're walking, then I want you to anchor it onto the center of the bottom of your feet. And now we're coming back to the sitting. Then I want you to anchor your mind on your breath. But I'm going to give you a stepping stone. The stepping stone is knowing. Let's just start with knowing a breath. But back to the postures. Focus on the lower part of your spine. Stretch your spine. Open the shoulder. Lean back. Relax. Now come back to your breath. Start with knowing your breath. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I can feel the change in my body as I breathe in. I can feel the change in my body as I breathe out. Okay. All right. So we're going to do more exercise. And after that, then we're going to start sitting meditation, in which case we're going to go from knowing to anchoring. And then we will anchor onto our body, sometimes at the belly button, sometimes scanning the body. Okay. Both are important. And I'll explain how that actually is very important to our health. All right. So we're going to do 3 more exercise. The first one is called um, double blade, as if the 2 hands are the blades and you put them together, right? And you separate them. And you separate them. It's very important. It's about separating the left brain from the right brain. My experience with dementia, seeing how my father taking care of him for a few years before he died, was that he started to lose coordination. It's really all about the left brain and the right brain. And when you think about the ancient Chinese medicine, it's always about the membrane. And this, in this case, is the membrane between the left brain and the right brain. I noticed that now when I look back, I know when it started. It started when he started dropping things. He just can't work with his fingers anymore. Left and right doesn't work. And it started when he loses balance and he falls all the time. It started when his temperament changes, when his logical side and his emotional side got all messed up. Okay. So part of the health is to do the kind of exercise that maintains the separation from the left brain and the right brain. And next week, we're going to do more. But this week, we just wanted to make sure that we understand that Left is left, right is right. So let's stretch, open, lean back, and relax. We're going to bring the left hand up, and then we're going to stretch the right hands out. Now we're going to focus, we're going to anchor our mind onto the right side at the center of our palm, but at the same time, we're going to keep the left hand stationary. Okay, the right side of the body is controlled by the left side of the brain and vice versa. All right, one side at a time. Focus on the right hand, bring it in front of you, making a nice big circle. Follow the center of your palm. Now bring it as far back as you can. Bring it as far back as you can. Feel the pain, accept the pain. Come back and anchor your mind onto the center of your palm on the left side this time. Completely let go of the pain. Don't let it go. Don't let it metastasize into suffering. Okay? Now, focus on the left side, keeping the right side stationary, separating the left brain from the right brain. Go around, open, feel the pain, let go of the pain, come back to the center of the palm, anchor your mind firmly on the center of your palm, let go of the pain. Right side, open, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Anchor your mind onto the center of your palm, keeping the right hand stationary this time. Left hand, open, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Right hand, two more times. Open, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, one last time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. And then come back. Focus on the body, stretch the spine, lean back, open the shoulder, relax. Now we're going to go from anchoring your mind onto the body to anchoring your mind onto your breath. Once again, we start with knowing. This is the stepping stone. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. One breath at a time, okay? So just remember those three. Know it, feel it, accept it, and then just let it go. Not just the body pain, especially the mental pain. When someone says something bad to you, feel it, accept it, and then just let it go. Let it go. It's already gone. It's already gone. I tell you a story. I told it in, I guess I never actually told this story in any language. My father has two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. The older brother had died years ago, and then it was his turn. So as a son, as the eldest son of the family, it was my duty to call his younger brother, who lives in Hong Kong, and very respectfully announce that his remaining sibling had just passed away. I always knew that there was a rivalry between them. That's just the way it is. And so when I called my uncle and explained to him that my father has passed away, he started telling me the history of how they used to fight and how my father has disrespected him. And then I was listening and listening, and then I had to remind him, Uncle, your brother has died. It's time to let it go. Sometimes we don't let things go, even when the person who causes pain has died. That's amazing. Who's it going to hurt, right? So I use the example that when you practice, it's as if you're looking at a pond, a lotus pond. I grew up with lotus ponds. A lotus pond is full of mud at the bottom. And the only way that you can keep the water clean, and the only way that you can see the reflection of the top of the pond is to let it go. So you look at yourself as if you're looking at the top of the lotus pond, and someone threw a rock in that pond. You have two choices. You follow the rock into the mud, which is all the angers and that you kept over the years? Or you don't follow the rock because the guy who threw the rock is already gone. You focus on the top of the pond and you just keep looking at it, focus on it, anchor on it, and just said to yourself, I feel it, I accept it, and I'm going to let it go. That's my choice. Okay? Very important, all right? So even though we only deal with the pain on your body, it's actually just a practice. The most important part is how to deal with the pain in your heart. All right. Now we're going to go to the second exercise. Second exercise is a little bit more energetic. And after that, we're going to come back to a very restorative practice, all to prepare ourselves for the sitting meditations. All right. So the next one is called throwing the fist. So once again, stretch, open, lean back, relax. Bring out the right hand, focus on the center of your palm, making a very soft fist. Get ready. Up. Open those fingers. Feel the vibration coming back to your shoulder. Up. Come back. Down, down, up, up, down, down. One last time. Up, up, down, down. Now two hands. Open the shoulder. Focus. One. Come back. Focus. Two. Come back. Three. Come back. Four. Come back. One last time. Five. And now come back to the breath. One breath at a time. Okay, so when I started, I talked about how our practice here is about the mind, the body, and the breath. Or actually, the Chinese use the word qi, which can also mean breath, but it can also mean flow energy. And the breath is that bridge between your mind and your body. Your breathing is the only function, the biological function that you can either control or not control, right? So if you have to control your every single breath and you have to remind yourself to breathe in and breathe out, right? That would be bad, right? Because you would die. But on the other hand, there are functions in your body you couldn't quite control, or at least not with some special training. But breath is the one that's easy to control, easy to manipulate, all right? And so we're going to learn how to manipulate a breath, slowing down our breathing as a way to release the self-healing power in the body. But the prerequisite of that is that you have to be relaxed, right? You have to relax. So how do we relax? How we don't, right? Most people don't understand how you actually need to do to relax. You say, well, I go to a vacation to relax. No, actually, you go to a vacation to gain more stress. So we know what relax means. It's about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Both are the yin and the yang of your autonomous nerve system. The sympathetic is back in the days when we were living in a cave. The sympathetic is when you get outside the cave, when you're under the sun and your body is energized because you're in danger, you're either chasing something or you're being chased by something. And so your adrenaline rises and it turns off a lot of biological functions, including digestions, reproductions, and immunity. But then we go back to the cave. So we go from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic, and that's how we restore ourselves. So relax in this case is about we activating the parasympathetic, or what we call the rest and digest. Okay, and to do that, we start with the vagus nerve. It's a big part of the parasympathetic nerve that actually starts at the very top, goes down to the neck, distribute around your back, and then comes in to inside. All right. So that's why we need to do deep breathing, is really to energize the vagus nerve, to energize the parasympathetic nerve, put you into the rest and digest. the way that you know that you're doing this right, that you actually have balance between what's called the yin and the yang. Yang is when you're outside the sun. Yin is when you're in the absence of the sun. That's how we used to live back in the days when we were living in a cave. Actually, even when my father, I always remember that even though we didn't live in a cave, in a way we did. We didn't have light or very little light. So he went out to work when the sun rises and he came home, right? And there were no televisions, there were no cell phones that is on all the time. All right, so it's just that in the last 60 years that we outgrew our evolution. So now it's time to go back to rest and digest. And the way that you know that you're in rest and digest, the way that you know that you're maintaining good health, is whether or not your mouth is wet. When you're in rest and digest, your salivary gland is reactivated. When you're in fight or flight, first thing it does is to turn off your salivary gland. So hydration is important, but even more important than that is self-hydration. So now just do an experiment, and the next exercise, see if it make any change. See if you actually get some salivers after you finish. All right, so the way we do that is we're gonna energize, we're gonna massage a skull first, okay? All right, so now we're gonna take the fingers, we're gonna use the tip of the fingers and not the fingernails. We're not trying to scratch our skull, but rather massage a skull using the tip of the fingers. And I want you to put 4 fingers on the forehead, one above the ear. And I just want you to glide those fingertips above the head, in the back of the head, down to the lower part of the head, and then to the neck. I want you to feel the sensation and how your fingertips are energizing the skull, the skin. And you can actually feel it below the skin. It's a very subtle sensation as you do that. All right, so now we're going to put all 5 fingers above the ear, do the same thing. Second time, and then third times. Now, I want you to close your mouth. I want you to stretch your spine, open the shoulder, relax. I want you to put the thumb in front of your shoulder. I want you to roll up your fingers very gently. The first is when you lift up your elbow, you lift up your shoulder, you lift up your upper torso as if you're bringing your shoulder to your ears. The second is when you point your elbow back, you open your shoulder, you open it as far as you can as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. The third is when you lower your elbow and you completely relax. The fourth is when you point your elbow forward and you're bending your neck, you're hunching your back, and you're pushing in your shoulder and you're looking down. We're going to go from 4 to 1. So we're going to lift up our elbow. We're going to lift up our upper torso. And we'll be looking straight ahead to the, except that you're closing your eyes, okay? Make sure you're closing your eyes. And then we're going to lean back, open the shoulder. We're going to be looking at the ceiling about 45 degrees, all the way back as if you're squeezing that tennis ball. Then we're going to bring it down. This time you're looking straight ahead again. Again, closing your eyes, okay? Until you're pointing your elbow forward, you're looking down. Now from here, we're going to close your mouth, but we're going to breathe in very gently, very steadily. We're going to breathe in, lift up our body, continue to breathe until you're completely open. As you come down, I want you to breathe out, relax. Tell your body to relax. Tell yourself to relax until you're completely hunched together and elbows pointing forward. As you come up, you breathe in, open, breathe out, relax, okay? Relax. Point the elbow forward, breathe in, open, relax, breathe out. Point your elbow forward, lift up, Breathe in, open, continue, breathe in, and then point it down, breathe out, relax. 2 more times. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Lower your hand, completely relax. Check the inside your mouth, see if it makes any difference. All right? Okay. And so I'm very mindful of that. That's why I can go for hours. I mean, sometimes our classes in the morning goes for 2 hours, and nonstop talking, nonstop moving, nonstop. And then I drink water only at the class because my mouth is still very wet all the way through. So now we're ready to do some meditation. Okay, and now we're ready to start what's called pranayama, the practice of breath. Except it's not about breathing through your nose. The nose is like the chimney. It's about breathing with your diaphragm, breathing with your lower stomach. The lower stomach is like the bellow. You know how the blacksmith, they have to move the bellow in and out? That's really where the breathing starts, is that diaphragm. All right. So this, we're going to be spending, we're going to be doing 2 sessions, 5 minutes each. Okay. And first, we're going to do abdominal breathing. Second, we're going to do what's called body scanning, both of which has been proven to increase your health, particularly uh, decreasing your chance of having dementia. We're going to first come back to our body. We're going to check our legs. And if you sit on the chair, which I actually recommend, okay, then you want to make sure the bottom of your feet are firmly on the ground and your chairs is just the right height that you're not dangling your feet. But if you prefer to sit like I do, I want to make sure that you put some blankets and pillows so you're not lifting up your legs. You're not using the leg muscle. It's all about not using any muscle as little as possible. Then I want you to check your arm. I don't want you to lift up your arm, just relax. Finally, we get to the spine again. Once again, focus on the lower part of your spine. Walk up your spine 1 step at a time. Stretch the spine 1 joint at a time. Keep stretching until you get to the top of the head, as if you're hanging your spine from the ceiling. Then you lean back and then relax. Now, the weight of your upper torso now is on your spine, not your back muscle, which is very important. Then you open your shoulder and then you relax your shoulder. Then you focus on your forehead. You lean back the forehead until the ears on top of the shoulder. That way, the weight of the head is on top of your spine. You're not using neck muscle. Then you tuck in your chin so the top of the head is above your spine. Finally, you come to the eyelid. You close your eye, but you imagine the baby. The baby sleeps by closing the eyes, but they relax the eyelids. So when you look at a baby sleep, at first you think, oh, they're just pretending to sleep. They're not shutting down. They don't shut the eye. They relax the eyelid. Right? When you see a baby shutting the eye like that, they're pretending to sleep. So just relax your eyelid. You can actually see a little bit of light coming through your eyelashes. Maybe you can even see the floor, your hand, your knee. But even whatever you see, don't focus. Okay, let go of your eyes. Finally, you get to the tip of the tongue. I want you to put the tip of the tongue behind your teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Close your mouth. Now, this will put you in rest and digest. You absolutely will feel the wetness inside your mouth because your salivary glands is reactivated. This is very important for your health. Your saliva is the beginning of your digestion. It is also the beginning of your immune system. Now, I want you to just focus on your breath. Start with knowing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, I want you to anchor your mind on your belly button. When you know that you're breathing in, I want you to bring that belly button forward. opening the stomach, pulling down your diaphragm. When you know that you're breathing out, I want you to bring the belly button back, collapsing the stomach, pushing the diaphragm up. Okay? You don't need to try to beat your body into submission. Just feel it. And gently move the belly button forward as you breathe in. And gently pull your belly button back as you breathe out. Okay? All right, so we're going to spend 5 minutes on that. And then I come back and explain the health benefit of abdominal breathing. One breath at a time, okay? Let go of your mind, let go. Just anchor your mind on the belly button. Feel your body as you breathe in, move the belly button forward. Feel your body as you breathe out, bring the belly button back. One breath at a time. Keep checking to see if your mind is somewhere else. If it is, you're thinking about something else, let go of the thought. Just come back, just for 5 minutes. Let go of the thinking. Focus on your feeling the sensation of your body as you breathe in and feeling it as you go out. Okay? So you're actually using a more important part of the intellectual system, which is the spine. All feelings are done at the spine. Let go of the big brain, let go of the intellect. One breath at a time. Okay, so this practice is basically abdominal breathing. You're practicing by anchoring your mind on your belly button, and you're energizing the diaphragm as you breathe in, opening the stomach, increasing the lung capacity. And when you breathe out, you collapse the stomach, pushing up the diaphragm, cleaning removing all this toxins from the lung. So you can imagine that by itself is already very good for your health. The second thing that it does is that it actually cycles you between the fight or flight and the rest and digest. When you breathe in, it puts you in the fight or flight, releasing stress hormone, particularly cortisol, which is steroid. The purpose of the steroid is to eliminate inflammation in your body. That's what it's designed. But then when you breathe out, you're in rest and digest. You're in the restorative part of the cycle where you're maintaining sensitivity to the steroid. The reason our body inflames, and I'm talking about chronic inflammation, not acute inflammation, the reasons for diabetes, the reasons for high blood pressure, the reason for cholesterol, the reasons for all the modern disease are not from a foreign agent. You're not being attacked, but rather you're allowing your body to inflame. And you're allowing your body to inflame mainly because your lifestyle, mainly because you have too much steroid and not because you don't have enough. When you have too much steroid in the body, it's as if someone rings your bell every 10 minutes. After a while, you don't respond. And that's what happens. Your body develops what is called cortisol resistance. Nowadays, it's called the autonomous disorder. You're not able to maintain that balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So this exercise actually allows you to restore that balance, that harmony between yin and yang. Now we move on to the second exercise. And now I'll use the word body scanning. The reason I do that is because you can easily look up a medical report, a research report, if you search for body scanning and dementia. There's been a report that says that people who do body scanning has a much less chance of developing into dementia. The word body scanning is used by a group that has a practice called Vipassana. We're actually doing Vipassana now. It's 10-day Vipassana. It's free. There are about 200 Vipassana centers around the world. You don't have to pay anything. You give free food and lodging. The only requirement is that you stay for 10 days. You don't speak for 10 days. You eat only 2 meals a day, and so forth and so on. Many people put that on the bucket list. I've done 10-day Vipassana for probably a dozen times. I recommend the practice, but they use the word body scanning, and we use the word mindfulness of the feeling. It is said that this is the original technique used by the historical Buddha to attain awareness. It's a very simple practice. I want you to continue to feel your breath. See how even when you don't anchor your mind on the belly button, you don't try to move the belly button. The belly button actually moves on its own. As you breathe in, you feel that your stomach opens on its own. As you breathe out, you feel the stomach collapses on its own. Now I want you to anchor your mind on the very bottom of your spine. When you feel that your body is breathing in, I want you to move up the spine, stretch the spine, move it towards the ceiling, Just keep stretching the spine until you get to the very top. Along the way, feel the change in your body. Then when you get to the very top and your body start breathing out, I want you to lean back, relax, and again, feel that relaxation as you come back to the belly button. When you breathe in, start at the bottom of your spine, move up the spine, stretch the spine, feel the energy rising within you, the life energy. And then when you breathe out, come back, restore yourself, restore the harmony, lean back and relax until you get back to the belly button. It is just that simple. And one of the reasons that it helps dementia is that it actually exercises the left brain and the right brain, maintaining the integrity of the membrane that separate the left brain from the right brain. So let's do that for 5 minutes. This is a very, very good practice. It's actually part of the Taoist practice, something that we call the microcosmic orbit. When you breathe in, stretch your spine, move towards the ceiling. When you breathe out, lean back and relax. Come back from the front. So when you come back to the front, you notice that you're starting at the top of the head, you come down the forehead, you come down the bridge of your nose, and then you have to cross your tongue. That's why we put the tongue, we tip the tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth. It actually completes the electrical circuit. And then you come back to the belly button. Okay, open your eyes. Let me figure out how to fix the yawning, okay? Chris says that, yeah, my saliva glands are definitely active, but as well as I started yawning. Maybe you're feeling oxygen for the first time. All right, so I think within my lifetime, I'll be able to see autonomous vehicle replacing all human drivers. I'll be able to see solar power replacing fossil fuel, and I'll be able to see the total convergence between two branches of science: the traditional science, which I call the experiential science, which are the North Indians, the yogis, and the Chinese, right? It's called what I call experiential science. They experience it and then they pass it on as experience generation by generation. And to the more alternative form of science, which I call the experimental science, that's about only 200 years old, right? Since basically since maybe more than that, since Galileo, right? And so there, I see the convergence. So the Chinese, they call this microcosmic orbit. They believe that they can feel the qi rising in the spine to the top of the head circulating, and to the point where they call this technique wandering dragon chasing the pearl. The pearl is just rising within you. And the experimental science, the Western science, start to understand that. And they think, oh, that's because as you do the abdominal breathing, you're using your diaphragm, you're actually massaging your intestines, which are very long, 6 times the height of a normal human being, and full of surfaces. And the small intestines are piezoelectric, so they're actually generating electricity as you breathe with your stomach. And so those are static electrons. And now if you use that that area, the gap between the left brain and the right brain, which can actually provide a potential, electrical potential, then the electrons will rise in the back of your spine, which is very conductive, and then making electrical circuit. And now the Chinese says, oh, but we don't actually call it qi. That's qi, right? When we say qi, we say shi qi. Shi means blood. It actually means all the conducting fluids in the body. So when we meditate, right, we're actually putting the conductive fluid in a very coherent pattern, and electricity generate magnetism. And what we're feeling is, in fact, the resonance between the magnetic field that we generate and the resonance, the magnetic field that is in the universe. And so we're actually using the energy in the universe to promote this healing power that is innate to our body. Someday they will all figure it out. Right now, I'm just having a ball of fun. Okay. All right. So this technique combines abdominal breathing with what is now called body scanning. You can actually do that together. You don't have to do it separately, because as you breathe in, you actually feel your stomach opens. Imagine the blacksmith is pulling open the bellow, right? So the stomach opens, and then you can scan your body by rising. And then when you come down, you can feel your stomach collapse a little, and then you let it come down. So the two can be combined. As you get good at it, the two cannot be separated. I recommend that you practice on your own 15 minutes a day. You can do it in the morning, you can do it at night, you can do both. Why 15 minutes? There are 1,440 minutes in a day. That's only 1% investment. That's only 1% investment. You restore your balance between the autonomous system, allowing your body to heal itself by making good use of the steroid that reduce inflammation, and at the same time restore the sensitivity to steroid, creating the balance. You're creating a scenario where you can actually exercise your left brain from your right brain, maintaining the integrity of the membrane that separate them, right? Reduce your chance of having dementia. That's 1% of a day. I think it's a great investment. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna get down to the floor, and we're gonna do more of the pranayama, but this time we do it with motion. Okay. emotion. So this exercise is, again, part of the yogic practice. Um, you don't even have to think about it. You just have to follow, all right? So before we do that, let's just loosen up the joints, all right? Because we're loosening up the wrist. The wrist is like the ankle. We're loosening up the elbow. The elbow is like the knee. We're loosening up the shoulder. The shoulder is like the wrist, okay? The not wrist, what is that called? Whatever it's called. All right, so let's work on the knee, the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to go to the heel. So left foot first, lifting up the heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then now on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to move to the toes. This one needs a lot of balancing. So definitely it's good for you maintaining the separation, the left brain, the right brain, good for your your health, okay? Okay, now I want you to focus on your body, stretch the spine, open the shoulder, lean back the forehead, tuck in your chin. Focus on top of the head, and then just push your body upward, standing on your toes, and focus on the top of the head, okay? And then when you come down, impact the heel. Second time, stand on your toes, come down, and then relax. One last time, and then come back to the toes. All right, so now we're going to do something even more challenging, which is standing on one foot. The Chinese call that the I don't know why they call that golden chicken standing on one foot. Okay, so whatever. So stand on your left, balance, and then kick your right foot. 1, come back to the top of the head. Okay, and then 2, and then 3. Now stand on your right, balance. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so anyone who has the beginning of dementia would not be able to do that. I know that for a fact. All right, so now we're going to move to the hip. The hip is just as important as the shoulder. And especially as we get older, it's very important that we maintain that elasticity of the hip, because otherwise, when you fall, you have no way of bringing it back up. You're just going to get boom like this, right? Like a sack of rice or a sack of potato. All right, so now we're going to stand on the right, put the hands together, come back to the left, making a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder. We're going to turn along that straight line as far as we can. Then we're going to come back to the right and relax. Second time. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Okay. Now we're going to do the other way. Work on the right hip. Turn. Relax. Turn. Relax. One last time. And then relax. Okay. All right. So now we're ready, huh? Okay. Now this one comes in 5 forms. It's very important that you understand that this is about the breath, the body, and the mind, with the breath being the bridge between the body and the mind. All right, so all 3 are important. So let's just focus on the center of our palm. Remember, anchoring your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up, bring it towards you, bring it down, and then stand up and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to close our mouth, breathe in with our nose, breathe in, 1 and 2. Breathe out, 3, relax, 4. Okay, just that simple. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, the key is not to let your mind drift away. Focus on the center of your palm. This is a meditation. This is, in fact, a mindfulness meditation combined with breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to change form. Breathe in, cross your hand. Breathe out, follow the center of your palm. Bring it back, breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One last time, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to switch from the dynamic meditation to static meditation by standing. We were doing meditation, we would sit. Now we're going to stand. We sit like the bell. We stand like the pine tree. So check the bottom of your feet, make sure that it's firmly on the ground. The rest of the body needs to be elastic, meaning that you want to loosen up the knee a little, open the shoulder, loosening up the shoulder, lean back the forehead, tuck in your chin, loosening up the forehead, loosening up your eyelid, and then just focus on your breath. One breath at a time, as if you're putting coins in that piggy bank, one coin at a time. We're going to stand for 1 minute, focusing on your breathing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out, one breath at a time. Let go of any kind of thinking. Don't use your brain. Use the rest of your intellectual system, which is the spine. Feel your breath as you breathe in. Feel your breath as you breathe out. Okay. All right. So those of you who watch professional sport, especially like in the Olympics, right? You watch the American basketball, Curry, Mr. Curry, go like this, and then he walks away. He doesn't even think about it because he's not using his brain. He's actually using the rest of his intellectual system. He feels it. He feels it. He doesn't even bother with his own emotion. So like this, and then he walks away, right? That's what we're doing here, is explore the rest of our intelligence system, all right? By not thinking, all right? Now, this time, this is the balloon breathing. So we're gonna lean back, looking at the ceiling 45-degree. Notice that the right side of my feet, the right feet, the toes are up. We're gonna bring up our hands, follow the center of your palm, roll your body forward, looking at the ceiling. The heel is up on the left side. And then open back. As you roll your body forward, I want you to breathe in, feel your breath. As you roll your body backward, I want you to breathe out, feel your breath. One breath at a time. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One breath at a time. Breathe in, breathe out. In, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Now lower your hand, follow the hand. Go from the center of your palm to the bottom of your feet. Move your feet one step at a time. Relax the body back to the breath, one breath at a time. Okay, now to the left side. Get ready. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One breath at a time. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower your hand. Back to the standing. Stand like the pine tree. Back to the breath. One breath at a time. Focus entirely on your breathing. Feel your breath as you breathe in. Feel the change in your body. Feel your breath as you breathe out. Feel the change in your body. Okay. All right. So now we do what's called a butterfly. All right. So open your shoulder, relax. Focus on the center of your palm, bring it up, and then bring it down. Lower your knee, bring it back up. Raise your knee, raise your heel so you're standing on your toes, but focus on the hand until the back of the hand are touching each other. As you come down, you breathe in, straight down, okay? As you go up, you breathe out. Now, the only way you can maintain balance is by anchoring your mind, okay? If your mind goes somewhere else, then you're gonna lose balance. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, anchor your mind at the center of your palm. Bring it down. Lower your heel. Relax. Another minute of standing meditation by focusing entirely on your breath. One breath at a time, one coin at a time, as if you're putting coins in your piggy bank, okay? Very simple. Okay. All right, so now we come to something called the pushing hand, push hand. It looks a lot like Tai Chi, but it's not. It's not a martial art. There's no opponent. You're all by yourself. Okay, now let's just imagine you have a water wheel in front. You go to the top of the water wheel, you come down, lowering your body, look straight ahead, and you push. As you come up the water wheel, you breathe in, You breathe all the way until you come down, and then you look straight ahead and you breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? You only feel your body. You feel your breath. You feel the air going through your fingers. You don't think. You don't try to analyze. Breathe out. It's like what Mr. Miyake says. Wax on, wax off. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. One breath at a time. Breathe in. Focus on the center of your palm. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back. One step at a time. Focusing on our breathing. One breath at a time. Okay, continue. So one time I used the 4 words that all starts with S. First one is like a sponge. You let it, as if you're a sponge absorbing positive energy. The second word is and you guys suggest this, is supple. You're loosening up your skin, right? You're not tight. And then the third one is soft. All your joints are soft. And then the fourth S is slow, as slow as you can. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Wax on. Wax off. Back to the standing. Another example I could use to help you focus on your breath is to think about Halloween. You go to Costco, you buy a big bag of chocolate bars. The kids ring the bell, you open the door, and you give one candy bar at a time, not the whole bag. So whether you're standing for 1 minute or 1 hour, it makes no difference because you're only focusing on one breath at a time, one Milky Way at a time. Okay? All right. This is the last 1 minute standing meditation. One breath at a time. Okay, The last one is called a little bit more energetic. We're only going to do it 3 times. This exercise is actually very important. If you know how to, if you can do this, it means you have pretty good health, because it means that your system is balanced in such a way that when you change your center of gravity, the adrenal gland can keep up and you're not having lightheadedness. Okay, it's very important. All right, get ready. Breathe in. Now open your knee and breathe out. All the way out until you bend your back. Then you breathe in all the way in until you bend your back, and then relax. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then relax. One last time. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then relax. Okay. If you get lightheadedness when you wake up too early, you sit up too early, that's called adrenal fatigue. You're stuck in the fight or flight to a point where your adrenaline gonna give up. So it doesn't put out stress hormone when you actually need it. When you change center of gravity, your body has to adjust. So it sends out stress hormone in order to adjust your blood pressure and your blood rate, your pulse rate, and all that. When it doesn't happen, then you get lightheadedness. Okay, it's actually a very bad sign. All right, so now we're going to spend another 5 minutes doing abdominal breathing or body scanning. Okay, either way, all right, or combination. Just do it your way. 5 minutes. Okay, open your eyes. So today I talk about chi in terms of breathing, breath, and I talk about chi in terms of energy, life energy. And I mentioned that it's really magnetic energy. It's because our body has conductive fluid, whether it's blood or everything else is conductive. And when you meditate, you actually put your body into a very calm state, which means that you're creating coherence in your electrical field. And when you have coherence in electrical field, then you create magnetic field. And from the standpoint of health, ultimately is the magnetic field in your body and the magnetic field in your universe, enhancing that self-healing power. Right? So I talk about that. There's another form of magnetic energy which comes from your emotion. You know that. When you're in the presence of someone who's very calm, very pleasant, big smile, full of loving kindness, you can feel it. You can feel it. And the opposite is also true. When a person is full of hate and jealousy and fear, you can feel it. I can give you two examples. One is with my father, I mentioned him. And dementia means that it's a deterioration of your brain, and all of a sudden you're like a piece of paper. Your whatever emotions outside, they feel it right away. And so the hardest part about being a caregiver to a person who's suffering from dementia is the lack of ability to controlling your own emotion, because that reflects. And so whatever it is that you bring into the room, that's what they receive, and that's what they're going to give back to you. And so I remember when every time I go over there, before I actually get to the house, I would chant. I would do a chant of loving kindness, calm myself first, and then I go in, and so he can have a good day. He doesn't have to suffer through anger and fear. And then, so the other experience I can share with you is back in the days when I was doing volunteer work at the prison. So most of the people that I meet there are there for life, right? So either they're indefinite sentence, meaning that they're there for life without possibility of parole, or they could be like 25 to life, which means that they're actually there for life. It's just that after 25 years they are eligible for a hearing, which could be a very long process, and in the end the governor has to sign it, then he get released, but otherwise he's basically for life. And these people are more likely than not there for murder, most likely multiple murder and very violent form of murder. But yet you could entice them into demonstrating their better health. A murderer is capable of loving kindness. It's just magnetic interaction. So we would go in, we were able to put down our emotion, let our wisdom and whatever it is, wisdom or loving kindness, they feel it, and they will be there greeting you with that. So very often I'll go in and I sit and I close my eye and meditate. And when I open, there's two big guys next to me full of tattoo. I mean, one arm can, like strangle me. And yet they're very kind because I am kind. I've been in this country since I was 15 years old. So that's 53 years ago. I've been through 10 elections. No, actually, no. I've been through 10 presidents. So it's more like 14 elections. This is probably the one that we have is probably the most consequential. It's a choice between joy and hate. It's a consumer choice. It's a consumer choice. We are consumer. You can decide to consume joy, or you can decide to consume hate. It's your choice. It's a free country. All we could do, we can't influence others. We even have to accept their choice. The only thing we can do is focus on ourselves, focus on our own loving kindness and compassion and empathy, and hope that positive energy can radiate like magnetic field and bring the other side towards the light. Let's come back to our body. Let's focus on our body. Let's straighten up our spine. Let's open the shoulder. Let's relax. Let's take a good look at our eyelid. See all the dark cloud and the shiny objects in the eyelid. See the light behind that. Focus on that light. Identify that light with positive energy, with all the goodness of this universe. And ask that light for more courage. Courage that we can actually make a difference in this world by being who we are, who we truly are. Putting aside our hate, our fear, our jealousy. Let the inside of us expose itself, which are the loving kindness and compassion and the empathy. We ask for serenity to allow us to accept the decisions that other people make, to accept them not as evil, just being different. We ask for the wisdom to know what we can change and what we cannot change. And just focus on making ourselves a better person and hope that that is enough. Namaste. All right, so I'll see you on next Saturday, huh? Okay, keep up the practice. Thank you, Marsha, for explaining the yawning as a form of release of stress and excessive energy. Okay, see you all next Saturday. All right. Okay, 星期一見. Okay,
So
bye
thank
bye.
you.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Daddy. See you again. Bye
Okay, bye bye.
bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.